Morning, everyone. I apologize if the audio quality is not great today. I'm doing this at home and I don't have my good mic, and I can hear kids starting to stir upstairs, so this video may not get done. But one common question I get for those that are curious about homesteading is, do I have to cut a lot of trees down for firewood? So we burn firewood, we heat our house with firewood, and actually it's more economical, I would say, to really buy firewood. A lot of that is just slab wood from Amish, from the nearby sawmills, is a really good way to get firewood. um, Cutting firewood on your own property is great, but there is a cost to it, and part of the cost is just the risk of cutting using chainsaws, pulling logs, things like that, especially if you're felling your own trees. And I apologize, it's lagging a little bit. I was trying to upload this video. Um, but I do cut some firewood. Sorry, I'm on a busy road here. Um, I do cut firewood off our property, and this is a prime example. So, this is a pair of elm trees, very nice and solid, that um, just blew down in a windstorm, laying across the main trail that we used to get from one side of the property to the others. And it's perfectly good firewood. I would really not have. I knew they were standing for a while, and I just waited for a windstorm to knock them down. And it did, but then it knocked it over the tree or over the trail. A lot of times it'll knock them down on a fence and stuff like that. So you got to go deal with it. So I really, for the most part, don't have to cut trees down, and I prefer not to, just because I'm not an expert feller. I can cut a tree down if I need to, but I prefer to just let nature do it. And so nature provides me with all of the firewood. In fact, I can't even keep up with just the blowdowns on our property. Part of that, we just don't need a ton of wood to heat our small house. But, we have 20 acres, about half of that is woods, and there's just enough trees that die and blow over or break off in windstorms that if you just kind of keep on top of it and season it, you'll have really all the firewood that you need, at least where we're at here in the Midwest. So I had an opportunity to go out and clear this tree that had been down for a couple of months because my wife was out of town with the kids, and it's really, really hard for me to go anywhere with the four-wheeler without taking the little kids with me. So since I didn't have to worry about them, I grabbed the chainsaw. I love this Husky chainsaw, by the way, and I cut it up. Mostly, I cut it up into pole length, and then I can haul it up later to. This is kind of down in the bottom of our property, and so I cut them into lengths that I can manage. I can handle by hand, like 7, 8 foot lengths, depending on how big the log is. And then I'll haul them up to the top with a tractor or trailer or something like that, and then saw them to length on a little more of a stable ground. I can set up a bucking, sawhorse type thing. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm clearing the trail, getting the tops cut off, and just getting it so that I can pass through it and get these down into more of a manageable size. And let me give you another example here of why I really don't have to cut trees down. So I'm putting another video up for you. This is a video I took after I cleared the trail. This is the same spot in the trail that I cleared, except that it's from the other side. So I piled the logs over here on the right side of the screen. And let me show you why it's not necessary for me to cut trees down in our place. Hopefully it'll load here. Um, if you look off to the left, hopefully. All right. So off to the left here, it's a little hard to see, but on the left side there is the top. You can see the top of a very large old oak tree that had been dying for a while, but is still alive every year. It had a big old split in it and a hollow spot, um, and that went down in a windstorm last summer. And there is probably enough burning in there for our house for 2 or 3 years, and I'm not kidding about that. That's just that's just the reality of it, and it's reasonably accessible. There you can see a little bigger. You can see more of the trunk. That's actually way more, a lot bigger wood than I care to handle. But it's set up in such a way that if I can get down there with the saw and cut it into smaller pieces, I have ropes and pulleys and chains that I'll drag it up to the trail where I'm at right now, where the four wheeler is at. Drag it up there, and then either buck it up into smaller pieces, or like I said, what I like to do for purposes of wood down in the bottoms is to cut them in, manageable lengths, 6 to 8 feet, whatever. Something that'll either fit in the loader of the tractor or on a trailer. And because it is down in the bottom a little bit, I have to climb up a trail, and I just like to be safe. And it's just much easier to haul them up and cut them up on top of the hill than down at the bottom where you got to like worry about them rolling out and stuff like that. So this is a prime example of why on our property it's just not necessary. And if we continue up here, this is the trail that goes back up to the top. I did not know this trail existed when we bought the property, but I realized it was there in the winter. And so we actually cleared out a lot of small trees. But this is the trail coming up out of the bottom and there's lots of broken down trees. But I want to show you as we get to the top here a couple of oak trees. There's a line of oak trees. Here's one on the right. This tree is very old. There's a whole line of them. And then this one on the left here, right on the left here. I forget the particular um, species of the oak tree, but when I figured out what it was and I did some measurements, I think I estimated this tree is maybe 170 years old. It's very, very old. And then you can see the house and the buildings up in the upper part. So anyway, that's sort of a quick overview of why, if you have any kind of property at all, um, you're probably not going to have to cut firewood down unless you're really burning a lot of it if you have like an outdoor boiler. But we just have a wood heater, a wood cook stove in our house that does all of our heating, and we do some cooking on it, and it doesn't take a lot, and we could burn a lot more wood with just the blowdowns and limbs and trees that die on our property. So hope you like that, and if you have questions about any of that, just leave a comment.